Adrian, please listen to me,
she says as she gently takes his hands in hers.
The pain you're feeling is the exact same thing I'm going through. I loved you, and I loved the time we spent together. A moment hasn't passed since we broke up that I don't reminisce about all the good times. But with how you are right now, you are not the same person I fell in love with. I don't know what's with you and Shiro, but that is something you two should take the time to sort out your differences, whatever you guys decide to do. I can promise you from the bottom of my heart that Shiro Roblord never made a move on me, and I never violated or considered violating the boundaries of any normal relationship. Wherever you got this idea that we did something, that's not what happened, and I don't know how to convince you otherwise. You can choose to believe me or not. At this point, it's your choice. Kind of like the choice Natsuki is giving you now. I understand your reluctance to get involved, and I know you're feeling dispirited and hurt. I'm in the same position as you are. For what it's worth, I'm not planning on participating in this crusade to take down Kai. But I know they can use your help. You're smart, you have experience in dealing with Kai, and you truly are the bravest man I've ever known. That hasn't changed. So don't continue to pity yourself. That's not like you either. The Adrian Hart that I know and fell in love with would press on and take the world by storm. You can still do that.
You really think so? Adrian says as he wipes a tear from his face.
I do. I really do. You might have changed into someone that I currently can't be with, but I know the other parts of your personality are still there, and you can pull yourself through this. Adrian, even if we're never going together romantically again, I want you to succeed. I want you to do the right thing and to be a good person. And it may take time for our wounds to heal, but I think that if you help Natsuki with whatever she's up to, maybe it'll help ease your pain. And you'll be doing the school a favor. Kai has a cancer and he needs to go. We're not the first couple he's driven apart, and if he keeps at it, we won't be the last. For our sake, I think you should consider helping Natsuki.
To me, being here, helping you all, that feels like the right thing to do. I'm not thrilled with working with you, Robillard, and I know that feeling's mutual, but I'm willing to save my bloodlust for Connolly, he says as he walks up to Shiro, outstretching his hand. So, yeah, truce or whatever. Shiro shakes hands with Adrian, whose grip is understandably firm. Fine by me.
Well, glad we got that out of the way,
Monica says as she rubs her temples as she retakes her seat. Wait, the multitasker.
I'm glad that you've decided to help us, Adrian. I appreciate your help.
Don't mention it.
So, yeah, about your plan, Sam. Oh, right. Well, first let me start off with what we all collectively know. We know that Michael was framed for Picturegate using the lewd photos taken of Charlotte, Kayla, and Ruby by Valerie Radcliffe. Adrian and Natsuki were able to provide proof. I also had a conversation with Valerie the other day where she practically admitted to having done something, but I did not get any ironclad confessions out of her. As such, I'm currently actively being targeted by Kai and his associates. The last few days, not going to lie, have been pretty hard on me.
Sam says as she lets out a loud cough.
But I'll be fine. I've been able to power through it. So far,
she says as she wheezes and coughs, wiping her face with her sleeve. Monica and Natsuki exchange a nervous look with each other as Adrian looks on with suspicion.
Kai wants me to give up on my quest to clear Michael's name, proving that he didn't do Picturegate and to drop Charlotte's investigation into the Anime Club's collapse. I have been targeted by Annabelle Jacobs, but I haven't heard from her the last few days. Quite to the contrary, she's been actively avoiding me, so I'm puzzled as to why that is. I think I can shed some light on that, Sam. Bella was dragged by her friend Nikki, where she admitted... was
dragged by her friend Nikki.
Where she admitted to us that she was behind Picturegate, that it was actually her that took those photos. Oh, well, that is news to me. Why are we learning this just now? And how do you explain the whole thing with the printer? She's getting to that, chill. Right. So, Bella said it was originally Valerie that was supposed to take the pictures, but she lost her nerve and Bella had to do it. Valerie still printed the pictures off and forged Michael's handwriting. The condition for Bella telling us all this was that we don't snitch on her. She said she wanted out of Kai's little operation and said she'd give up on everything. So that's why she herself hasn't been bothering you lately. We made this deal before all this got put together, so I don't want any dirty looks.
We made the deal that we thought we had to make, and I think the results speak for themselves. We verified that Valerie was in fact involved.
Right, but we got two issues. Problem number one, Valerie is a world-class liar. She can conceivably weasel her way out of the proof we have on her by saying Kai or someone else stole her ID to log in and print that out in her name. She has some plausible deniability. Problem number two, Bella might be the only one who can effectively bring down Kai and his team by whistleblowing. While that'd probably turn into a he said, she said, I'm sure Bella has some proof that they worked together, and it'd be blatant to even rank in that Kai did all this. And now we can't use her because of the deal you struck.
We might not get to use Bella, and I want to try to respect the deal you guys struck with her, but there might be someone else we could use. Randy Barrett.
Why him? He's Kai's right-hand man.
Maybe so, but I think there's more to him than his muscles.
Do enlighten us.
When I first started all this, I confronted Randy to try to get an answer out of him. He didn't tell me anything of value, but I had a medical emergency and he saved my life. I vividly remember him arguing with someone about what to do with me, whether they should just leave me there for someone else to find me or to help me.
Yeah, I think they honestly don't know the definition of vivid.
He chose the latter. That's why I'm here now. And as Kai has been harassing me, almost all of them have taken a sick, twisted pleasure in inflicting harm and scaring off anyone who even looks at them disapprovingly for their actions. But Randy seems like he doesn't want to do that. It's almost like he's forcing himself.
That's great and all, but that's not a whole lot to work with.
On the contrary, Adrian, it does line up with what Shiro, Yuri, and I saw from him the other day, and the day he joined us for lunch. He held back Kai from going after me after I told him off, asking him to drop it and walk away. Not to mention, he did say he doesn't always agree with Kai's actions, so given that much information and what Sam has observed, it may seem that he's starting to waver in his loyalties. I did really feel like he was referencing Picturegate.
Well, Bill actually recommended to the three of us that if we wanted to find an alternative source of information, that Randy would be our best bet. He and Kai have been fighting a lot recently, according to her. I don't know why Randy sticks to Kai because he's either nothing without him or he's too loyal for his own good. But that might be our only shot.
Randy's never struck me as the smart type. He likes to think with his muscles. That's always been the vibe he's given off. I've never really talked to him, but from what I do know about him from others, is that he does respect loyalty and teamwork. If Guy's disrespecting him, he might be looking to bail. Though on the other hand, really, he's usually been a complete the mission kind of guy, too. We've seen it from his football games. He tries to push through no matter what. Up until now, those two have always been pretty tight, even though I think it's clear that Kai's been using him for muscle and intimidation. Randy's always seems to be happy around Kai. It could be possible that we're getting too deeply into things and they're just going through a rough patch. So I'm skeptical if we'll get him to flip to our side. Oh, but the fact remains, he really is our only other lead besides Valerie. And I doubt she'll talk willingly.
So what's the grand plan here?
Sam twiddles with her hands, mulling over how she wants to put her thoughts into words. After a minute, she lets out a sigh.
This is the way I see it. We need to confront Randy and or Valerie first before we confront Guy. If we can bring them over to our side, then we'll have leverage over Guy, plus I'm sure both of them have substantial proof. I'm willing to say Randy might be the better option for this. We can confront Valerie if things with Randy go nowhere, and we can show her the proof and perhaps make some sort of deal with her. But if Randy sees what he's doing is wrong, and has finally had enough of Guy, then his testimony against him would be the nail in the coffin, plus whatever evidence he has.
The problem is Randy would be screwing himself over, too. If it's found out that he was involved in that scandal, then he'll be off the football team for sure, and I don't think he'd want to risk that. If it is. That might be partly the reason he's still sticking by Kai now, because if he turns on Kai, Kai can nuke his standing on the team. So unless he can get some sort of plea bargain with Rankin, I'd find it hard to imagine a scenario where he doesn't screw himself over in the process of screwing Kai. We gotta understand here, we'd be asking two of our fellow classmates who have great life prospects, or though undeserved, to give up their futures and ruin themselves. And nothing would be keeping Kai from retaliating against him or Valerie if we go with her. Which brings me to another concern I have. If we confront Kai and lose, then we're looking at signing ourselves up for 2 years of non-stop hell. What he's doing to you now would make it look like you got pushed off the monkey bars. The school still treats Kai like he's a palm-top tiger and have stomached his behavior for so long now. We're assuming that the school expels Kai for this. I don't have a lot of faith in them that they'll expel him, given that there's so many fucked up people here that should be gone. If he isn't expelled, then he'll just seek revenge on us and bring about that 2 years of hell scenario I just brought up. Now, if Kai does get expelled, I do expect his little network to fracture and collapse. But we'll also have to look over our shoulders because he's a vengeful little fuck, and I can easily see him asking one of his old buddies here to make our lives miserable as payback. And of course, however we go about taking down Kai could have its own consequences. I can't imagine this ending without a fight. So we're potentially risking breaking several school rules one way or the other.
I'm surprised you suddenly care about the school rules. You've never had problems breaking the school's non-smoking policy.
Because it's a dumb rule.
Well, I'm of the school of thought that it's not breaking the rules unless you get caught.
I like your thinking, Phillips. Point is, I'm personally willing to take the risk. I have nothing to lose anymore. The only thing that keeps me going is out of my life. I only have some inspiring words to fuel me, and that'll only get me so far. Can everyone in this room say that they're willing to put their necks on the line for a wing and a prayer?
The room falls silent as everyone thinks over Adrian's question. A heavy expression falls across each of their faces. Are each of them truly prepared to risk their hopes, their dreams, their happiness, all in trying to bring down the worst person in school? Hoping they can turn one of their accomplices against him when they themselves have so much at stake as well? There's no guarantee of success. In fact, some may feel that they're fighting an uphill battle. A heavy silence hangs in the air for the next few minutes until Sam clears her throat.
You guys have every reason to be hesitant about this. If we're telling the truth, I am too. Before all this, before this year even started, I wanted nothing more than to just continue to be invisible and have Siri as my only friend. While I was always self-conscious that I was wasting my years away, it was a content life I had. Things were easy. But then I met Michael, and he just gave me a new perspective on everything. He too had suffered through a lot. His hope was that he could finally settle down after this old life had been uprooted and just live a peaceful life. Then Kai came and ruined that for him, like he's ruined it for so many other people, and us too. We are victims too. The difference is, we're willing to fight back for a change. Think of all the hopes and dreams you all had, and think of our fellow classmates. And think of how Kai constantly stomps on them, right in front of our faces. We're not the only ones who have a stake in this. It's all bigger than ourselves. Think of all the people he's hurt and bullied into silence to get his way, and for what? To try to burn the world down so he can finally feel better about himself. He's truly selfish and despicable with all he's done. Even though we're not perfect ourselves, what's clear to me is that us 7 are the ones in a position to do something. I don't like the idea of having to face down one of our classmates and all be all showdown. I mean, think of how messed up this is. We should be more worried about whatever test we need to study for or what projects due next week. Not on worrying about what some egomaniac is going to do next and who he's going to try to hurt. Kai is not interested in being our classmate. I believe we're not doing this for ourselves, but for everyone who's suffered by his hands. When Kai's bullying of me reached a new low, I considered just dropping it all and going back to the way things were. That would have been an easy way out. But I feel the eyes of everyone who always hurts just watching me. Some of them were brave and tried to fight back but lost, and some just gave up. Would they have wanted us to walk away when we have the chance to help everyone? Do you think that Michael, Charlotte, anyone you know who tried to fight back would want us to throw in the towel? I don't think they'd want that from us. Many of them are our own friends or acquaintances, people we've known for years. They'd want us to be happy, and I think we all want them to be happy too. You know, for a while I always asked myself, what's my purpose in life? And now I think I finally know that answer. To return the happiness and kindness that everyone has ever given me. This may be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to set things right for this place, to give everyone a chance at a happier, drama-free future. We have to do the adult's job because they've failed us. And so if you want to still help but are worried about the consequences, let me take the fall for it. This is all my idea, after all. Unlike everyone here, I'm not long for this world. I fully don't expect to be walking across that big graduation stage under the lights with you 2 years from now. So if I have to face the music for what we'll do, if I have to barter my happiness for yours, so that we'll only get to enjoy the time in high school we have left, then to me, it's worth it.
Sam says as she wipes a tear that fell on her cheek. She sits back in her chair, visibly drained. The room is dead silent as they all ponder Sam's words. Each of them think about the friends and people they've seen suffer at Kai's hands. Sam remembers Michael, how he was needlessly targeted and used as a pawn in someone else's game. Shiro remembers Charlotte, her honorable, faithful attempts to bring Kai to justice. Adrian remembers himself and Yuri, how their relationship, though strained at the end, was ruined partly due to Kai.
Maybe if you hadn't shown me the picture, I wouldn't have jumped to conclusions and overreacted.
Adrian thought somberly to himself. Monica remembers her freshman year self, now fully digesting the fact that it was Kai who had been behind the poem scandal of last year. How much of that year was ruined, how she considered doing such horrible things to herself. Kayla, Ruby, and Natsuki each remember their old friend and clubmate Kyle, who had nearly been expelled and got his college acceptance letter revoked for trying to fight Kai in the name of standing up for Shiro. How his future was ruined because he wanted to stand up for his friend, not to mention the recent picture gate incident. A long, sorrowful look comes across each of the 7's faces, some at the point of tears. They then look at each other one by one. Through their pained expressions, determination courses through their veins as they nod to each other.
I'm in. For Kyle's sake.
For Kyle. For Kyle and...
No, for Kyle and the Anime Club. For Charlotte.
For Yuri and myself.
For my younger, innocent self last year. For Michael.
Each of them take a long look at the desks or at the floor, each of them processing the reality of what they're about to do.
Alright, well... If we want this to work, if we want to truly avenge their happiness, we need an actual plan.